Have you ever typed out a message on your phone, hit the send button, and then just immediately felt your heart drop?
Oh, absolutely. It is the worst feeling.
Right, you just stare at the screen and you watch that little speech bubble appear, and you are completely panicking, thinking, oh no, why did I just say that?
Yeah, you just want to reach through the internet and pull the words right back.
Exactly. But you can't. And welcome to the deep dive, everyone. Today we're exploring the hidden, the kind of unwritten language of our phones.
It really is a whole separate language, isn't it?
It really is. We are looking at text messages, group chats, and even, old-fashioned handwritten letters. We've gathered some fascinating research and audio documentaries on modern communication for this.
And the mission today is really to unpack the specific, everyday English vocabulary that native speakers actually use when they type.
Yeah, we want to uncover the funny mistakes people make and figure out the invisible rules of how we talk to each other through screens.
And because we know so many of you listening are actively working on improving your English skills, we're going to keep our pace clear and steady today.
Definitely. We want this to be a relaxed space for you. We're breaking down not just the English words themselves, but the underlying psychology of why people text the way they do.
So whether you are on a walk or driving or just relaxing at home, let's just get into it.
Let's do it. Because before we even worry about which English words to type, we face the very first massive hurdle of modern communication.
Which is deciding exactly when to reply.
Yes, the notification sound.
Oh, that little ping or the vibration. It creates an incredible amount of social pressure, doesn't it?
It really does. When your phone lights up, you have to make this split-second calculation.
Right. You have to decide your identity in that specific moment. Like, are you going to be a fast replier right now, or are you going to be a slow replier?
And what's really interesting is that we aren't just one or the other. I mean, our response time completely shifts depending on the sender.
Oh, totally. It's completely situational.
Like, if I get a text message from my mother, I'm typing a reply in 2 seconds flat.
Of course. You have to.
Right. But if I get added to a massive group chat, where 20 different people are sending memes and making dinner plans all at once.
Oh, that is overwhelming.
Exactly. I might put my phone face down and just ignore that for 2 whole days.
And that makes sense. You're demonstrating the modern hierarchy of replying. We naturally prioritize our digital attention based on social importance and really just our emotional bandwidth.
Yeah, we just don't have the energy to give an instant response to everyone.
We don't. But, this delay in replying leads us directly to a very essential modern English vocabulary word. And that word is ghosting.
Ghosting. Yes, if you're learning English today, this is a cultural term you absolutely have to know.
It's everywhere now.
It is. To ghost someone means to suddenly disappear from their life without any warning at all. You just stop calling, and you completely stop replying to their messages.
Right, just like a literal ghost, you vanish into thin air.
Vanish. Usually, ghosting is a deliberate and fairly negative act. It leaves the other person feeling incredibly confused or, rejected.
Because they get no explanation. They just get silence.
But there is a very common accidental variation of this behavior that the sources talk about, the forgetful ghost.
Oh, the forgetful ghost. This happens so much.
I have a huge confession to make here. I struggle with this constantly.
Really? You do?
I do. Being a forgetful ghost happens when you read a message on your phone, you process it, and you actually come up with the absolute perfect answer in your head.
Right. You think you've replied.
Yes. But then I get distracted, I put the phone down, and I completely forget to actually type the words and hit send.
Well, psychologically, what happens is your brain checks the conversation off its to-do list. You registered the message as finished because you participated in the conversation internally.
Exactly. But out in the real world, my friend is just staring at a blank screen waiting for me. I always feel so guilty when I realize what I've done.
It's an awful feeling.
It is. But I want to challenge the label here for a second. Is it truly fair to call it ghosting if it's just a genuine accident?
That's a good question.
To me, being a forgetful ghost is like mentally giving someone a high five, but in reality, you just walked past them and left them standing there with their hand in the air.
Oh, wow.
You meant well, but the result just looks terrible.
That is a perfect way to visualize it. The internal intention just doesn't match the external reality at all.
Right.
Technically speaking, true ghosting does require malicious intent. It's the conscious choice to ignore someone. But here's the problem with digital communication. The other person cannot see your intention.
They can't see anything.
Exactly. They can't see that you got distracted by your dog or that you were, carrying groceries. They only experience the silence.
So to the person waiting, Being a forgetful ghost feels identically painful to being intentionally ghosted.
Exactly. The silence is the only clue they have.
Which makes total sense. So let's imagine we avoid ghosting entirely. We sit down and we decide to write back.
Okay, we're texting now.
Yes, but now we face a completely new set of problems. In a text message, the other person cannot hear the warmth in our voice and they cannot see the smile on our face.
And this introduces the critical concept of tone.
Tone.
Right. Tone is the underlying feeling, mood, or emotion behind your words.
Yeah.
In a physical, face-to-face conversation, your tone of voice does a massive amount of heavy lifting.
It really does. It tells the listener if you are making a joke, if you are genuinely angry, or, if you are being sarcastic.
But in a text message, your words are just flat, gray text bubbles on a glass screen.
There's no emotion there naturally. So to fix this, we've basically reinvented how punctuation works in English.
We really have.
Take the word okay, just O-K-A-Y. If I send you a message that just says okay with a solid period at the end, that feels incredibly cold.
It feels hostile, honestly.
Yeah, it almost feels aggressive, like I'm really angry with you.
It's fascinating how the grammar rules have shifted here. Because in a traditional English class, a period is just a neutral grammatical marker indicating the end of a sentence. That's it.
Right, it's just a dot.
But in a casual text message, a period creates a hard, abrupt stop. It signals that you are shutting the conversation down completely.
Which feels super rude.
Exactly. However, if you take that exact same word and swap the period for an exclamation point, if you write okay with an exclamation mark, the entire emotional landscape changes.
It totally does. It becomes warm, agreeable, and enthusiastic. Just okay.
One tiny line of punctuation completely flips the meaning of the word.
And because we don't have facial expressions to help us out, we've fully embraced emojis to help with this tone problem.
Oh, movies, yes.
Sometimes people call emojis a universal language, but this is where it gets really dangerous for language learners, because emojis can actually cause absolute communication disasters.
Oh, they definitely can. Visual cues in digital spaces are highly subjective. They are wildly prone to misinterpretation across different generations and cultures.
There is this famous, hilarious story from the sources about a grandmother that perfectly illustrates this.
I love this story.
So her grandchild sent her a text message saying that they were feeling very sick and had a terrible fever. And the grandmother wanted to show sympathy, right?
Naturally.
So she replied using the emoji that is laughing so hard it has giant blue tears coming out of its eyes.
Ah, the classic laughing, crying face.
Yeah. Because the grandmother focused entirely on the tears, she thought the symbol meant, I am crying because I am so deeply sad for you.
Oh, no.
She had no idea it was a face laughing uncontrollably at her sick grandchild.
It's a very funny generational mix-up, but it actually highlights a really profound lesson for anyone learning English today.
What's that?
Well, when you learn a language, you naturally spend most of your energy studying vocabulary lists and grammar rules, right?
Sure, yeah.
Yeah. But in modern digital text, visual cues like emojis, exclamation points, and even capital letters carry all the emotional weight that our physical voices normally would.
Wow, so you aren't just learning an English dictionary. You have to learn an entire emotional dictionary of symbols.
Exactly. An emoji isn't just a fun, colorful decoration. It is literally functioning as punctuation. It's doing the job of your face.
It's doing the job of your face. That is such a great way to put it. It provides the necessary emotional context that text alone just cannot deliver.
Precisely.
And speaking of how text has evolved, we really need to talk about speed. Because texting lacks a physical voice, we didn't just add emojis. We basically invented a completely new, high-speed written language to keep up with our thoughts.
And this evolution is a direct result of historical technology limitations. And financial costs, too. It's a great example of necessity forcing innovation.
It really is. If we look back at the dark ages of cell phones, the era of early SMS messaging, long before smartphones or free Wi-Fi messaging existed.
Right, the flip phone era.
Exactly. Every single text message you sent cost money. And to make it worse, you were strictly limited to 160 characters per message.
That is so little space.
Letters, numbers, punctuations, spaces, you only had 160 of them before you were charged for a second message.
It was an environment of extreme scarcity. People had to figure out how to communicate really complex thoughts without paying extra fees.
So people got incredibly creative. They started deleting the spaces between words entirely. They would use numbers in place of words, writing things like, "How are you?" using the letter R and the letter U to save precious space.
And that environment directly sparked the widespread explosion of acronyms.
Acronyms, yes.
For our listeners building their vocabulary today, an acronym is a shortened form of a phrase. You just take the first letter of each word and smash them together.
It allows you to express a full thought in just 3 keystrokes.
Exactly.
The absolute classic examples of this in English are LOL, which stands for laugh out loud, and BRB, which stands for be right back.
Yes, BRB is a lifesaver.
It is. You use BRB when you're in the middle of a fast text conversation, but you need to put your phone down for a minute. You know, maybe you type BRB so they don't think you are ghosting them.
Exactly. These acronyms are a foundational part of natural, casual English today. But there is a crucial warning here for language learners.
Oh, definitely.
You must constantly be aware of your audience. Do not use casual acronyms like LOL or BRB in a formal email to your boss or a professor.
Keep the LOLs completely out of the workplace, guys, unless you know for a fact your boss is unusually casual.
Very true.
But I have to ask you about this because I hear people complain about it all the time. Do all these short acronyms mean we're just getting lazy with the English language? Are we destroying grammar, or are we actually just becoming highly efficient communicators?
It's a debate linguists have been having for years, honestly. Many traditionalists do argue it's laziness.
Right.
But modern linguistics generally views texting not as written language, but as fingered speech.
Fingered speech.
Yes. Language always adapts to the medium it lives in. Imagine you were walking down a crowded street, you're carrying a cup of coffee, and you're trying to quickly coordinate a meeting time on a tiny piece of glass.
That sounds stressful.
It is. Stopping to type out a full, grammatically flawless sentence with perfect capitalization is simply using the wrong tool for the job. Acronyms aren't lazy. They are a highly specialized tool designed for a high-speed environment.
I love that perspective so much. It's not laziness, it's specialization. It's fingered speech. And that actually brings us to a major challenge for learners.
Which is?
The gap between textbook English and natural texting English. Because acronyms help us type faster, sure, but sounding natural in a message also means using relaxed, everyday phrases.
Oh, absolutely.
I know a lot of learners struggle to sound casual because they translate formal thoughts directly into texts.
It's a very common hurdle. Because in the classroom, you are trained to use formal, complete sentence structures.
Right?
But if you paste those into a text message, it creates an unnatural, almost robotic distance between you and your friend.
Think about what happens if you're running behind schedule to meet a friend. Textbook English teaches you to write. I am writing to inform you that I will be late. If you actually send that text to a close friend, they're going to think a lawyer stole your phone.
It sounds like a corporate press release, not a message from a friend.
Exactly. In real, natural texting English, you drop the formality entirely. You just type 2 words. Running late.
That's all the information they need.
And this introduces another fantastic everyday phrase using the word running. Running low.
Running low is a brilliant phrase to add to your vocabulary. It simply means you only have a little bit of something left, and the supply is almost completely gone.
You can use it for anything. You might text your roommate, "We're running low on milk, can you buy some?"
Or you might look at your phone battery and say, "My phone is running low."
Or even emotionally, like, "I'm running low on patience today." It's incredibly natural.
It is.
But talking about natural texts and running late brings us to a very funny cultural phenomenon known as the message lie.
Oh, the message lie. This happens in almost every language and culture that has cell phones.
It's that moment when your friend texts you asking where you are and you immediately text back, "On my way."
But the reality is,
You are still sitting on your living room sofa, desperately trying to find your keys and put your shoes on. You are absolutely 100% not on your way yet.
it's the classic message lie. But what makes this so interesting isn't the deception itself, but the psychology behind why we accept it.
Why do we?
Well, in modern texting culture, a phrase like, "on my way," functions less as a literal truth about your geographic location and much more as an emotional management tool.
An emotional management tool. Walk me through that. Why don't we just tell the truth and say, "I haven't left yet"?
Because texting is immediate. The other person is waiting in real time.
Yeah.
You center their anxiety. On my way to soothe their anxiety.
Oh, I see.
It basically translates to, I have not forgotten about you. The process of coming to see you has begun in my mind, so please do not be angry.
Wow.
It manages their emotional state and preserves the relationship, even if it's technically a lie about where your physical body is.
So it's like a polite social fiction. We all agree to believe the lie to keep the peace. I will definitely keep that defense in mind the next time I'm running late.
Good plan.
Now, sometimes a quick BRB or a polite social lie like, on my way just isn't enough. Sometimes we have a really complex story to tell, or we are feeling very strong emotions.
And that completely changes the format of the message we choose to send.
Yes. When the emotional stakes are high, or the context is complicated, the short, casual text message format completely breaks down. It just can't handle the weight of the conversation.
And that leads to the absolute dread of receiving what we call a wall of text.
A wall of text.
A wall of text is exactly what it sounds like. It's a massive, unbroken paragraph of words that fills up your entire phone screen. There are no paragraph breaks, no white space, just a giant gray block of text.
Trying to read a wall of text is like trying to drive a car down a busy highway that has no lane lines and no exit signs.
That's a great analogy.
Your brain is desperately looking for a place to pause, rest, and process the information. But the lack of structure forces you to just keep speeding along until you're completely exhausted.
It is exhausting.
When you see a wall of text pop up on your screen, it usually triggers immediate panic because it signals one of two things. Either this person is incredibly excited about something, or there is a very, very big problem.
The visual cognitive load is simply overwhelming for the reader, which is why many people, when they realize they have too much to type, will transition to a different format entirely. Voice messages.
Voice messages or voice notes, these are highly polarizing.
They really are. People either love them or hate them.
Some people love the convenience, and some people absolutely despise receiving them. And I think the biggest reason people hate them is self-consciousness. Nobody likes hearing the sound of their own recorded voice.
No, it always sounds slightly deeper and unfamiliar to our own ears.
Yeah.
It's an uncomfortable mirror.
But for English learners specifically, voice notes are arguably one of the most powerful learning tools available today.
I completely agree with that.
Because if you are learning English and a native-speaking friend sends you a voice note, you have complete control over the learning environment.
Exactly.
Unlike a live, high-pressure phone call, you can pause a voice message. You can stop and look up a vocabulary word you didn't catch. And most importantly, you can replay it 5 or 6 times to hear the natural rhythm, the tone, and the emotion of the language.
It completely removes the performance anxiety of having to respond instantly in a live conversation, but it still gives you vital exposure to a real, spoken human voice, rather than just flat text on a screen.
It's the best of both worlds. But there is a very strict rule of etiquette here. Do not send your friends a 10-minute voice message.
Please don't.
If you are talking into your phone uninterrupted for 10 minutes, you are no longer sending a message, you are hosting a podcast.
Respecting the listener's time is crucial, regardless of the medium you choose.
It really is. Now, before we wrap up today, we have to look back at the oldest, slowest format of messaging we have. Handwritten letters.
Oh, I love handwritten letters.
There is a wonderful tradition of having a pen pal. For our listeners, a pen pal is a friend you make, usually living in a completely different country, who you only communicate with by writing physical letters back and forth through the mail.
Having a pen pal is a deeply traditional, romantic, and highly effective way to practice writing in a new language. You have the time to sit, think, and craft your sentences carefully.
It is a beautiful practice, but it also leads to some amazing mistakes.
Oh, language mistakes are inevitable.
There's a story we came across in the sources about an English speaker who had a French pen pal. The English speaker had very basic French skills, and in one of their letters, they wanted to write a heartfelt sentence expressing, "I really like your letters."
Look at that, sweet.
But they made a slight vocabulary mistake and accidentally wrote the French translation for, "I really like your salads."
Your salads.
Yeah.
Oh, that is wonderful. That perfectly captures the danger, the vulnerability, and the absolute joy of language learning.
Just imagine opening a beautiful handwritten letter from across the world, anticipating a deep emotional connection, and your international friend just sincerely compliments your lettuce.
It's hilarious.
It is. But it's also a great reminder that translation mistakes are a totally normal, inevitable part of communicating. You can't let the fear of sounding silly stop you. You just have to laugh at the salads.
That story highlights the inherent vulnerability of reaching out to someone. Whether it's a carefully handwritten letter crossing an ocean or a quick text message crossing a room, you are putting your thoughts out into the world, risking mistakes just to build a connection.
It's so true. So what does this all mean for you, the listener, as you continue your English journey? Let's recap the terrain we've covered today.
We started with the intense social pressure of replying and explored why being a forgetful ghost feels so painful in a digital world.
We navigated the incredibly tricky waters of tone, learning that a simple grammatical period can come across as angry, and that an emoji is actually doing the emotional work of your facial expressions.
We look at the high-speed history of fingered speech and why acronyms like LOL and BRB are tools of efficiency, not laziness.
We contrasted stiff, robotic textbook English with the casual flow of natural phrases like running late and running low. We even uncovered the polite social fiction of the on my way message lie.
And finally, we explored how the length and emotion of our thoughts dictate the medium we use, from dodging overwhelming walls of text, to utilizing the learning power of voice messages, to the slow, vulnerable charm of writing to pen pals across the globe.
The biggest takeaway for your language journey is that small daily practice is what truly matters. Sending a quick, casual text message to an English-speaking friend every single day is far better practice than trying to write a flawless, giant essay once a year.
Absolutely.
So we want to invite you to actively practice your English tone today. Think about your own daily habits. Do you prefer calling people on the phone, or do you prefer texting? And why do you make that choice?
And try to organically insert some of today's new vocabulary into your life. The next time a friend takes 2 days to reply, you can jokingly tell them they are ghosting you.
Or when the coffee is almost gone in the kitchen, tell your family you are running low.
It's all about making the language a comfortable, natural part of your daily routine.
It really is. But as we close out this deep dive, there is a fascinating, almost philosophical contradiction about the modern messages we send that we want to leave you with.
And it centers entirely around our perception of permanence.
Think about the difference between a physical letter and a text message. A handwritten letter feels inherently permanent. It feels solid and important. You can put a letter in a wooden box, slide it under your bed, and it physically stays there for decades.
Right.
On the other hand, text messages feel incredibly temporary. You send a quick text while waiting for the bus, you read it, and you forget about it 5 seconds later. It feels as temporary as the wind.
But if we look at the reality of how digital infrastructure actually works, that feeling of temporary casualness is a complete illusion.
It really is an illusion. That physical letter under your bed might accidentally burn in a fire or get ruined by a water leak or just naturally turn to dust over 100 years. The physical paper is fragile.
Very fragile.
But every single digital text message you send on your smartphone, every ridiculous acronym, every quick LOL and BRB, it is beamed up into the cloud and saved on a massive digital server.
It is copied and backed up in multiple locations around the world, potentially existing forever.
It creates an incredible historical contradiction.
It really does.
Are quick, silly, thrown-away LOL texts actually the most permanent, indestructible messages human beings have ever created in the history of our species?
Wow.
Are we leaving behind an eternal, forever record of our daily message lies and our forgetful ghosting for future historians to read? It is definitely something heavy to mull over the next time you look down at your glowing screen, type out a quick, casual message, and hit send.
Something to think about for sure.
Thanks for taking this deep dive with us today. Keep practicing your English, don't be afraid to make mistakes, and we will catch you next time.